Ready? Set? Hello and welcome to episode number 10, Through Deep Waters, the Young Nations podcast. You already know. We got the man on the pod finally. What's up, guys?
Good, bro.
How are you? Man like TJ, man like Tokio. Introduce yourselves. What's up?
I go by Tokio. My guys know me as Zach. My guys know me as Ahmed too. You know, I got 3 different names, 3 different countries, but you know the vibes. Slit, we get it.
Yo, my name's Ahmed, but I usually go by TJ to most people.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because your last name is Tijani,
yeah.
so you go TJ. Yeah. Something's missing, so my brother is not on this podcast today, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's isolating. My brother got hit with the virus, so Omicron, that's serious. Go get your vaccine, get your booster, you know, that virus is not jokes. He's isolating, you know.
I'm on my first dose myself, so you guys need to get on.
Actually, we need to ask you about that.
Yeah.
But before we do, firstly, big up Hussein. The episode's not, it's not feeling the same.
It's really not feeling the same, because I really want to, actually, talk with Hussein, see his, different inputs and stuff like that.
He's always has, interesting inputs, and he's, a funny guy, too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
I don't try to be a funny guy, because I know I'm not a funny guy, you know.
You're funny, though. Wallah,
you're funny in your own way, bro.
I'm funny when I'm not trying to be funny.
Exactly. That's what makes it funny, though.
Yeah, but if I'm sitting, I'm like, okay, let me make a joke. Let me tell something. I'm crickets.
Yeah.
The jokes usually don't work out, but
Fair enough, but yeah.
Yo, but the very fact they don't work out though, we just when you're not there and everyone's just chilling, we're you remember when Zaid said this, and then everyone's just dying, bro. It's so.
Hey. You know what we always laugh about? We always laugh about how much of a shit driver you are.
Put some respect on my driving. My people in Canada are gonna see this and agree with you.
Oh, bro. Hey, if you guys agree with me, then you already know the vibes.
We've had one too many moments of hold on.
Holy shit! No. I didn't know my rep was in the mud like this at home, bro.
Hey, man. You know the day, me, I actually thought you were an excellent driver, an amazing driver, until the day I think we pulled up in front of Sam's house. I don't know, you remember?
And you're trying to park up Sam's
house, and we were behind you, and we seen you parallel parking, but you didn't know it was us. It was a random car that pulled up, so we were just watching you. And you try
and I was confused this whole time. It's 3 a.m. and this one car is parked up in front of where I was trying to park and not moving. I gave him time to move. He's not moving. I said, okay, let me go park. And this car is not moving. I was like, what the fuck is this car watching?
So he puts his head out the window and he's like, what the hell, go? And I put my head out the window. I'm just like, yo. And he goes, oh, Tokes. I was like, yeah. And then he's like, bro, you're just watching me. I was like, I was watching you fail 5 times, bro.
That's my one thing. Parallel parking,
but I'll give you credit for that, because living in Dubai, over here in this country, you barely have opportunities to parallel park. You know what I mean?
In Canada, it's different.
It's different. Everywhere's parallel park over there, or no?
Usually, you get, obviously parking lots too, but there's also, street side parking that, it's more common than here.
It's more common than here, yeah.
It's more common than
Over here, there's not that many parallel parks. There's, 45 degrees, straight right angled, or,
The 45 degrees is my favorite.
That's it.
Yeah. Given the quality of driving in UAE, I guess, this is probably going to be a hassle if we had so many parallel parking.
You'd be surprised, by the way. You think quality of driving here is suspect? Over there, people don't know how to drive.
You think so?
People here, I'll tell you something. People here, they drive a bit reckless.
Yeah.
But most people have control on the car. You said guys zooming past whatever, tailgating and flashing the light and stuff. Yeah, but they have control. There, they don't know how to drive. This guy's going in the fast lane, going 60 kilometers, and you flash him, whatever, he's gets nervous. And
on the fast lane?
Yeah,
so you can see that they get shook.
They get shook when they drive. They're not able to adapt. The road. Yeah.
They might actually die of heart attack in the UAE if they were driving.
Don't drive in Sharjah. If you're from Canada, don't drive in Sharjah.
Yeah.
Do not drive in Sharjah.
Or any roads going to Abu Dhabi. Yeah, those are dangerous.
Yeah.
Over here, it's similar to Toronto. And I think in Toronto, they got 6-lane highways as well.
Yeah, but Toronto's different. Toronto, almost all the streets in the city have parallel parking, except if it's a residential street.
Yeah, but one thing I realized, it's a cultural difference too. In North America, right? I remember I was driving in Texas, right? With my parents, and then my dad, driving in the UAE style, he was going on the left lane, fast lane, right? And he's flashing people out the road, and they were getting pissed. Because if you flash apparently over there, it's an insult.
It's
apparently.
an insult, yeah.
My dad's wondering why they trying to break that.
I don't know about America.
Honk too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about America, but in Canada, honking is a big deal. One time I was a guy swerved in front of me and I gave him, those long honks. Brrr. This guy, he gave me from, I overtook him, then from behind he gave me middle finger, bro. I was like, what is this?
You're the one that did me dirty. What the hell? Oh my days.
Anyway, I want to ask you about something.
What's up?
You said you got your first dose.
I got my first dose.
What's that about?
My first
Why are you so late?
All right, so
why you didn't get vaccine? A vaccine has been out for like a year, bro.
That's
Well, you
true.
know what? I'm like the only one here who still hasn't caught COVID. I'm not trying to
Don't
jinx
jinx
it.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm not
Say
trying to
mashallah,
jinx it.
say
Mashallah,
mashallah.
like still.
Say mashallah.
I'm mashallah because I said the exact same thing you did. Started the year.
Yeah, but you weren't vaccinated, bro. I'm like 3 doses in, bro.
Oh, so you got your booster?
3. Yeah, I got a booster.
Oh, okay, cool.
Why didn't you get vaccinated?
I didn't get vaccinated because I'm lazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not anti-vax at all. I think
He's not
pro-vax.
lying, bro.
I feel like anti-vax people, if you have the mindset of like I don't want to take the vaccine because they put chips in, they track us. They track it through your phone anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's
Your
really,
bank account, transaction history.
like they know
location
everywhere
data.
where you are. There's satellites that can know what hair color you got from like space. Like you're not hiding anything. You know what I mean? So if them putting a chip inside you,
what are you so scared of them seeing?
yeah,
Like,
you know what I mean? Like you're not.
Like they're gonna see some guy eating chips sitting at home.
You know what I mean?
Like,
The worst you're gonna do is like, yeah, you know the vibe. So like, you know what I mean? Like, other than that, like people don't really care.
Bro, you know how
but-
many vaccines you have to even take in this country? Like just, I mean, in general, like in like most developed countries, just to go to school. Like
Yeah, vaccine passport is not new.
yeah, like I remember
Passport.
I had a checklist of
Yeah,
like
vaccine passport. That's what they call it. Like the vaccination documents in Canada, they call it vaccine passport.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
There's-
it's not new.
there's like a checklist. I mean, usually it's like attached to like your Emirates ID here of everything you've been vaccinated with through the ministry. And so like if you don't have a few of them, they'll tell you to go and get them, or you can't really sign up to any schools.
Yeah,
under the
like
ministry.
that's and I think what most anti-vax get like messed up is sometimes they'd be like, oh, it's my body, my choice of what to put in my body. But when it comes to disease and like illnesses that spread, you have to also consider community well-being.
100%.
Right?
Man.
It's no longer your personal freedom if you're hurting somebody else.
100%.
So I can have a chainsaw, I can rev my chainsaw and run around and wave it around.
Yeah.
And that's my personal freedom. But the moment it starts like slashing people and cutting people's
Exactly.
heads,
Exactly.
then we have a problem. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, some people would disagree with that. I can't be asked to argue, bro.
I feel like unless
People
you
from
fit
Texas disagree with that.
unless you
South
fit the
in general.
criteria of being in your house and not leaving and order everything and work from home and like literally you don't see daylight in like 24 days and you see daylight and the only time you see daylight is when you go to your backyard and you come back, you have a right to not take the vaccine because you ain't seeing nobody. You feel me? But
But I also think those anti-vax people, maybe you guys might not understand them 100% because you guys haven't had like 3 or 4 lockdowns. Dubai never Dubai locked down or UAE locked down for 3 weeks in the beginning and that's it.
Yeah.
They've never locked down since, right?
yeah.
Canada has had, now this is the 4th lockdown. I'm here and they're in lockdown over there.
Word.
Yeah.
So is it like the whole like flight $2,000 thing again?
No. That's hotel quarantine is not. You just have to test when you get there.
Okay,
And
cool.
you stay in your house until you get negative and then you're good.
That's good.
But there, like, people are tired because you go 3 months of everything being open, then they tell you, oh, cases up, close up again. Then they keep you closed, then they tell you, oh, open up, and then like it's an open close thing, and no one's getting. Businesses are getting messed up too.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Like
the governments are not helping the businesses, right?
not as much as they should be. The government announces it late, and then they react late, and then they alleviate late.
Yeah.
So it's like it messes up, and everybody's like on off
I
cycle.
see you. I think the places that get hit the most is probably like bakeries and shit that
Yeah,
like
small-
you have to
small
go
mom and
into.
pop stores,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think, bro, like spa areas,
Gyms.
Oh yeah,
cares,
yeah,
gyms.
you're right.
Because
for
those are
sure,
the first ones
for
that they
sure.
close because it's like close contact.
Yeah, you're right for
And
sure.
theaters got hit really hard too.
Ooh,
Movie cinemas, yeah.
for sure.
I know my cousin. He's the okay, so it's not out yet, but a couple episodes before you.
Yeah.
It is gonna it's really coming out like in a couple of days. You'll see it. He is like a film student, and he did like theater and stuff. And then he's telling me about how his industry got hit the hardest and stuff.
What was he working at?
Oh shit.
He's a student right now,
oh, okay.
but like in terms of like the activities, his festivals, cinemas, and
Yeah.
stuff. He's
Okay.
passionate,
Oh,
so he
film
goes
study.
and
Okay,
yeah, he goes and studies.
Yeah, I had a friend from Kazakhstan. He literally he was studying here. What was it, audio sound systems or something, like in uni, right? Then COVID hit. He had to change his whole career path. He had to leave the country since they weren't. It's like his program was like based off of like a lot of work experience. You got to be like working festivals and everything in Dubai.
Okay.
And so since like the shutdown thing and like not many festivals were going on and they weren't hiring interns or anything, he had to leave. So he went to Kazakhstan, now studying finance. So
In Kazakhstan.
yeah, he went from like some audio sounds design to like straight finance.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's smart enough to like handle it, but like still going from what you really wanted to do to like something that's probably going to feed you.
And you weren't planning on doing it.
He wasn't
right?
planning. He wasn't. No.
That's crazy.
That's crazy because a lot of times in life, things will get thrown at you like that, where you have a plan in your mind, you want to do something, you have the whole thing set out, but they say Allah is the best of planners. You know, God is the best of planners. Sometimes it might not go your way in terms of how you thought about it, and there might be some obstacles that come in, but you have to then have that skill to adapt and you know, like I know you guys have a lot of experience, and so like all of us I think in life have experience, but especially you guys, like you're my dogs. I know you obviously. So I want to ask you about where you like developed that, both of you, in terms of you being able to adapt to your like circumstances, and then being able to then create a new plan, create a new set of actions that you have to go do. How do you guys like?
I mean, I feel like I have to thank my parents for like my ability to like, you know, change and adapt on the fly. Like I've like since I was a kid, like so we moved from Nigeria to the UK while my dad was doing his PhD in Scotland, and so like that was a whole different new environment. I was still a kid, like around 3, so like the friends there and everything.
A little bit louder, bro.
So like you know, getting to know some friends over there and everything. But back like I was like in kindergarten and everything. You know, I'm thinking, this is my life now. Back then when I was a child, right? This is my life now. I'm going to make friends here, blah, blah. And then my dad got a job in the UAE. And then we flew over, and then it was completely different culture, you know. The weather's different, the culture's different. I was like, was it grade 2? So like, yeah, so like it was completely different. So I had to like try to figure out how to make friends. The language was different and everything. To me at least, my dad can speak Arabic. So. Yeah, so like, yeah, it was like the weather too. That was going from like freezing cold most of the year to like,
that's for sure.
I want to take off my clothes, bro. I can't. But like Scotland, bro, like summer probably, if I remember back then, summer was probably worse. A heat wave is probably in the 30s.
That's crazy.
20s sometimes, bro.
Yeah, countries like that, they ain't got no AC.
Yeah.
They ain't got no.
You open the window and hope for the best.
Yeah. You got fans on with your wife beaters on. It's like, it's crazy, man.
How about you, Tokyo?
Sorry, repeat your question. I'm so sorry.
So, like, where do you feel like you got that ability to adapt to situations and things not going your way?
You know, like, I'm not gonna lie. I have to thank, like, you know, how he thanked his family. I thank my mom for everything she's done. I thank my pops for everything he's given me. But I feel like I was really like a kid where, you know, I'm just living my life. Like, I'm not really worried about adapting or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up, like, you know, spoiled to my mom. My mom would, like, try and give me her best to give me what she wants. And, you know, my mom raised me most of my life. So, you know, like, inshallah, she gets accepted to the highest of heavens. Ameen ya Rab. And my dad, to Allah yarhamu. Ameen ya Rab. And, like, you know, she gave me everything she ever wanted. So, me, I was never thinking about, like, having to adapt in certain situations or whatever. So, I wasn't really growing up that way. But, you know, as life goes on, like, I had to get forced into those situations, you know what I mean? I had to get forced into thinking on my 2 feet, having to adapt and, like, survive in situations and stuff. So, like I had to be, like, forced into the situation that I am in today or whatever. I didn't really have a choice for it. But I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's, like, like, regretting everything that happened. I don't regret nothing that happens in my life. Alhamdulillah, you know, things happen for a reason. And, you know, it can only take me up from there,
So what was it like in your life that made you, because you said you had to get forced to think on your own 2 feet. So what was it that made you get forced?
So
what happened? Like, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, no worries, man. So as I was growing up, I had a normal life and everything like that. My parents were separated when I think I was around like 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that. So from that moment on, I was just living with my mom, and me and all my brothers were living with my mom. And then my dad and mom went back together, I think, when I was like 13, 12, something like that, and then separated again. So during the second time is when we moved out here to Dubai. My dad lived here as well, and then we just started, you know, living life. At that point in the moment, it was just me, my brothers, my mom, and my dad. I'll see my dad once a year, like every couple days, every week, you know what I mean? Like I'll see my dad for a week or a couple days once a year, you know what I mean? So I didn't really have a connection that I would have, like, with my pops that, like, a lot of people would have. And so, like, you know, like, my mom would take care of me, would do whatever, and et cetera, and stuff like that. And alhamdulillah, like, my mom, bro, like, people who don't know outside the country, like UAE, you have to pay for everything. Like it's not like if you're not a UAE citizen, if you're not a local, if you don't own the passport from this country, you gotta pay for schools, you gotta pay for healthcare, you gotta pay for a lot of things. You know what I mean? Unless like people's like parents, their jobs help them provide to help them with that. Usually like it comes from the parents. Like the parents are giving you straight.
So sometimes, like, just at that point, sometimes like it'd be where like companies to entice
benefits.
people to bring people here, they give them benefits like, oh, we'll pay for your kids' school,
Yeah.
because they know these things are not covered here.
Yeah.
So you have to find another way to pay for them. But if you don't find another way to cover them,
Yeah.
then that's when it has to come
Yeah,
out of
comes
your
out.
pocket.
Exactly. And like schooling here isn't cheap. Like it's per year per student is like around $12,000 to $15,000, and that's like on the
US,
average end. If you were to go to like a bougie school or a nice school, it can go all the way up from 15 to 20 to 25. You know what I
It's
mean?
the very very
And that's
high.
per child. You know what I mean?
per child.
Yeah,
Oh
so-
my God.
It's to the point where I think when I was going to Canada for uni, because I'm Canadian, so I pay Canadian fees.
Yeah.
When I was going to Canada for uni, my parents were telling me you're going to be a load off our shoulders now, because now we're not paying for your school fees.
You know what I mean? It's
Our
crazy.
school is like 3-4 times more expensive than
Yeah,
uni.
and you know, like if you hit from grade 1 to grade 12, you spent 500,000. Like that's like per person, like that's one child. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I mean,
Shahadi
decent
was
schools,
telling me
yeah.
that his parents were like, when he graduated grade 12, they're like, oh, we hit the 500,000 mark. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like you know, over here, like you have to really pay for everything. And my mom was doing that not for me, but for my 4 other brothers as well. So you know, like my mom was really carrying everyone on her back, and I appreciate for everything.
Salute
she's
to your
done.
mother.
Well,
Salute, big
to my
salute to your
mom,
mother.
man.
Salute to the
I love my
mothers
mom.
out there, bro.
Yeah, and
sure.
so we were just growing up and everything like that, and then it was time for me to go to university, I think, and that's when my dad moved back here, and my dad I don't know how to say this, like my dad wasn't the best dad, but inshallah Allah forgives and Allah like blesses him and he has an easy life, because I have no ill will or ill feelings against my father. You know what I mean? I may have had as a kid or at a time when I was like years younger, but I don't have that anymore, and I don't have that at all, because at the end of the day, I'm the person I am today because of all those experiences. And at the same time, my dad was once my dad. You know what I mean? If I want to be a good person and a better person, I can't continue this cycle of like screw you, this, that. Like I cannot continue that cycle. That's a mindset and a process for another day. But to continue with we'll continue that subject down the line. But to go back to it, because I'm running on a tangent.
You're good.
Yeah, so my pops, he came back here. I was going to university, and I had problems with my pops. I wasn't able to go to university. My university is really far. It's like a 2-hour drive, so I wasn't able to go to university.
So you were staying in Sharjah, but your uni was like on the other side of Dubai.
Yeah, literally.
So you had to.
I had to transfer every day. You know what I mean? And you know the
Right.
traffic here is
Yeah,
insane.
plus traffic 2 hours probably.
Yeah, my lecture starts at like 8 a.m. I'm leaving the house after Salah, after Fajr, straight. You know what I mean? So like just to avoid the traffic, I'd rather wait at uni grounds and chill and relax and then walk to my lecture than sleep an extra hour and hit a 2-hour traffic journey. You know what I mean?
Facts.
For real. So I would do that, and whatchamacallit, like it was hard, it was tough. Like my dad did not make it easy on me. And you know, a lot of people's parents are tough, you know what I mean? They say mean things, they do mean things, and don't allow you to go. But I just ask, like, you know, everyone in life is the person they are today because of their experiences and what their stimuli, you know what I mean, is like what surrounded them, you know what I mean? So you are the person you are today because of your past experiences, whether you think a certain way or you don't. So our parents had to struggle a lot more than we did, and for
Hopefully
us
our kids struggle a lot less than
a lot
we did.
less than we did.
It's
So
like a
like
cycle that goes down.
so you know what I mean. My pops, him himself, when he was in Somalia, my granddad, whenever my dad didn't herd the sheep properly, my granddad would tie his leg to the car and drive with it and drag him. And then my dad has deep scars in his back to today.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And my granddad used to hit my dad all the time and everything like that. So my granddad sent my dad to Egypt for boarding school when he was 13. And they didn't see each other for the next 25 years, you know what I mean? And he's on his
That's
13
wild.
years old, you know what I mean? It's wild shit. So then, and my granddad didn't give my dad fresh clothes, didn't give him nothing. But my granddad thought he was doing what's best for his child. Then my dad said, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna give them a safe place to live, and I'm going to feed them and put roof over their heads and give them clothes, like new clothes if they want. So when my dad be doing that type of stuff in his head, all the emotional connection and everything like that is not necessary because he's like, that was never a thing. It's just I never beat you. He never knew it. Yeah, he never knew it. So he's like, I never beat you. I never like I gave you clothes. I put a roof over your head. You know what I mean? So you should be good because that's all I ever wanted. That's what he's thinking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you always learn from your parents things what not to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you have your kids or I have my kids, inshallah, you guys have your kids. You're always gonna think like, like I'm gonna treat them like better and everything, but there's gonna be a distance and a connection between your kid that you won't understand.
Because the age, like as age progresses, and you hope, I think that by generations it gets easier and easier and easier.
Exactly.
So now your kids are not gonna have it as easy as you. It's gonna have it as hard as you. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're gonna have it a little bit easier, but then their kids then will also, you know
exactly,
what I mean, see some connection, and then they'll raise their kids easier as a result.
Exactly. You
it
know
gets more and more comfortable. Hopefully, that's the aim.
Exactly, that's the aim, inshallah.
But I want to ask you then. So, you talked a bit about uni. So I think uni was one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the first real like tests to your plan, to your life plan.
Yeah,
right?
man.
What happened with your uni?
Man, I had a whole plan. My plan, I graduated high school. I had a plan. See, I wanted to be an astronaut, funny enough. And I was so serious about that, you know what I mean? And I know the requirements and everything like that. So my plan was, I graduate, I get accepted to University of Toronto. I meet the requirements for the grades, so I studied hard, meet the requirements for the University of Toronto. Go to University of Toronto, take a co-op program for aerospace technology and engineering, do a co-op program 5 years, so you come out of uni with 2 years, and one of the representatives for the, I think the aerospace engineering department is the Canadian Space Agency, so you work with them, so the co-op program, you study one semester and you work the other semester, so
this is a backdrop, you're from Toronto, that's why.
Oh yeah, I'm from Toronto by the way, but I lived here like almost all my life, so that if the accent's gone and everything, you know, don't blame me, you know what I mean, but yeah, so, so I am Canadian by the way, but yeah, so, I'll go to University of Toronto, do the co-op program, work for the Canadian Space Agency on and off per semester, come out, and I've also read up an article and also on their webpage and also the Canadian Space Agency, like I did all my research, they say that we accept like a high batch of students from the co-op programs that work with this certain factor of aerospace engineering or this and that we work with these other unis, you know what I mean? So it's like an easy flow into the job, you know what I mean? So if I worked with the Canadian Space Agency, I could gain up a lot of like experience and like learn new things and training to then be able to apply to NASA, because NASA is partners with Canadian Space Agency. So they do projects together and etc. So I would have eventually worked for NASA, apply for the astronaut program. I'd probably been an astronaut maybe like 32, 33, maybe even like 38.
So you're already thinking that far ahead.
I already set it out, but then those are not like details on like, it's not deep planning, to be honest. It's just like what I know what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I just know like, hey, I want to take this course. I know I want to go to this uni. I know I want to go work at that job. You know what I mean? I know what I want to do. But then, man, when you make plans, God laughs at you. I'm telling you, bro. Like, because that did not happen. I was 2 months. I applied to University of Toronto. I got accepted, and my parents were like, no, you're not going. You know what I mean? I used to live Western Lawrence, 2100. You know what I mean? Albion Court. Like I used to live like in the hood. You know what I mean? And like it wasn't good. And my parents are thinking like, after growing up in the hood, my parents are thinking like,
that's how it'll be if you go back.
Yeah, like my parents thinking like we ran away for a reason. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy out there. So I'm not gonna put you, because I'm already a nutcase. I'm a troublemaker. I'm out here like doing everything. So they're like, we're not gonna let this guy loose. You know what I mean? So they're like, no. And, you know, like, I'm a young kid, you know what I mean? And over here, you don't have the opportunity to work, like, when you're a student. So you can't make your own money unless you make your own money, like, off online or Soper or, like, whatever. Yeah. You can't, like, actually get a legit job over here because you have to have...
The laws here, you have to...
Yeah, either your visa is a work visa and you got employed, like, your employer provides you the visa. Yeah.
You know Only then can you work.
So you wouldn't be allowed to work here. Me coming off fresh, like, not knowing how the world works, really. I'm being sent over there. My parents were like, nope, you're not going to do it. So, you know, I was kind of frustrated at the fact that I couldn't set on that plan. And so while I was lost and I didn't know what to do, I ended up going to Emirates Aviation over here.
It's like another university here for aviation.
Yeah, for aviation. You know, Emirates Airlines, so, like, they have a university over here, Emirates Aviation. And I went to that uni only for 2 months. And during those 2 months, my pops came back. A lot of headache happened. And with that uni, it's like if you miss 3 lectures, you fail the course. You know what I mean? And I managed to fit all my courses in a week. So when my pops came, like conflict happened, and I wasn't able to go to university for 3 weeks. So they failed me, and I got an email. And I was doing really well as well. Sucks, but you know it is what it is. I feel salty about it right now, but nah, it's cool. I stuck for love, but I got an email. I remember saying that I failed all my courses due to attendance. You know what I mean, and everything like that. And that like brought a darkness inside of me because like you know, like you set plans, you have plans for yourself, you do a lot of things, and then you see it all crumble and you don't know what to do. And
how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like I was in a really dark place because like I didn't know what to do. My family is not as financially stable as like a lot of people, but so it's really difficult for me to say that, like, because university, like Emirates Aviation, is like almost 100K a year.
It's not like if you thought school is cheap, it's expensive here.
Yeah.
There's university.
Uni is like 100K a year per student. You know what I mean? So
$30K US.
30K US, 40K Canadian. Yeah, it was 35K Canadian. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So the fact that like if I failed it on my own accord, I would only feel guilty. But because like I was doing well and you know like I was attending all my lectures, getting like distinctions and everything, I felt like it was robbed away from me. You know what I mean? So I felt really dark, and I threw a fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that was a rough time.
Yeah, and like I fought my dad, and you know, may Allah forgive me for that. Like I fought my dad, and my dad was just like, get out. So at that point, I was living homeless. You know what I mean? And my mom, she tried doing her best for me, but my dad was really in a place of like controlling the household, and my mom couldn't do too much. So, but she was doing her best. You know, my mom would like, God bless her, she was doing her best. So at that point, I was homeless. And I was homeless for a good year, I think, or something.
So where were you staying then?
I was staying on the streets. I was staying in staircases. I was staying here and there.
Real rough, bro.
I was sleeping
wasn't
rough.
fun. It wasn't fun trying to figure out where he was, bro.
Yeah, I remember this was the time. I think so. You were more in touch with what Zach was going through at the time because we, like me, Khalid, all the other guys, had already went like
to uni.
We knew what was going on, but we weren't like in touch with it.
In person,
you know, like we didn't see the struggle as much.
Yeah.
Like I'll come home and I'll find you staying at like Hassan's place, or I'll find you staying at some place, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, Zach's staying there, and I know the situation, and I have facts, I know, but I didn't feel it as much as like TJ felt it or whatever. So like, it still blows my mind sometimes that that's something that you actually had to put up with.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is crazy now that I look back at it, but I've got a really strong backbone because if I'm not saying you should go through it to get to my backbone level, don't.
But if you are in it, there's a way out.
There's always a way out. Like I'm here, I am today.
I mean, God bless you with us as friends. So like,
Thank
we got
God,
your back, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was out on the streets for a good like I would say 6 months, and the other 6 months, one of my guys got a uni house. His name's Hussein. Sam, he got a uni house. Shout out to Sam, bro. He got a uni house.
That's good, Sam. Yeah, Hassan, bro.
I've never called him Sam in my life.
You know the thing is, I've been calling him Sam for years.
You give nicknames to everybody, but it never catch.
You know,
no. I call him Sam for years, but his name is Hussam, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I say Sam, I gotta breathe in. I go Sam. So everyone thinks I'm saying Hussam, but I'm not. I'm just saying Sam. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Nah, it's just too lazy to say Hassan, bro.
Anyways,
that's one thing as well.
Yeah,
you know
so Hassan's place, you stay there.
So he got a uni villa. He stayed with a couple of his guys from uni, and we all went to the same uni. You know what I mean? So I already knew these guys from back in uni ends, and they're like, yeah, you know, you can stay with us, of course. So I stayed in the villa with them. You know what I mean, for the next 6 months, and then like there was not a lot for me to do. Like over here, I was overdue on my visa. Like so, my visa expired, and I was here day after day after day. I couldn't leave the country because I gotta pay the fines on the visa. Then I gotta leave, but I don't have a job, and you know my parents are not financially stable, and my mom is doing the best she can for me. But my pops disowned me practically, cut me off. So, and like caused me to put me in this situation. So I was really stuck. You know what I mean? I couldn't do a lot. But it's not like I did anything. It's not like I did nothing. So what I did is I said I had to understand, like this is the first steps out of like when you're in your downfall, you know what I mean? This is your first steps to getting out of it, is you just need to have the discipline to know that shit ain't gonna fall on your lap. You know what I mean? You wake up and you go to sleep and the sun's still gonna shine the next day. You know what I mean? So you need to do, like time cannot be taken back. You need to do what you need to do and actually go and do it while you still have the chance. So I guys, I got ADHD. I'm thinking like 300 things at the same time.
It's okay.
So yeah, so I said, okay, this is what I have. I have fines on my visa. I got I have no job. I don't have any source of like connection to get money, and at the same time, I need to do something because if I end up paying the fines and clearing my visa, I will have to then leave the country because I don't have a current visa holding me because I can't renew it. You know what I mean? So
you would have to come in and out on a tourist.
In and out on tourists, but I don't have sustainable money to keep doing that because to enter you need okay. So if you're coming on a flight, cool, you got to pay for the flight, obviously. But over here, if you go to the next country border, if you go to the border and you make a U-turn and come back, it's like 250.
Yeah, there's a fine. There.
Exactly.
Not a fine, like a fee.
Like a fee, right? It's like 250, and then you do that every 30 days or every 40 days.
Every 90
you know
days,
what I mean?
2 months.
No, it's not 3 months.
It's 90 for British passport holders, but me and him Canadian.
It's only 30.
30 for Canadian.
30,
and like a 10-day grace period.
Yeah,
you couldn't get a tourist visa.
Couldn't get a tourist visa.
You couldn't renew your visa because you didn't have anything giving you a visa in terms of work, in terms of anything like that.
There you go.
What was the next step? So already, let's just recap super quick.
Yeah.
You wanted to be an astronaut. You had a plan to go to University of Toronto and everything.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. You went to Emirates Aviation University.
That didn't happen.
Right? So you it took you to a point where you were now had no place to go, no place to live. And you're now here. Where did you go from here?
So the first thing I did, it took a long while to get out of that mindset. You know what I mean? There's a lot of lying to yourself. Lying to yourself is a big thing that a lot of people need to understand.
Say about that.
Thinking that it's gonna it's nice to think it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? It's nice to think that everything's gonna be fine. But lying to yourself, being as in making excuses for yourself when certain situations don't go your way, is dangerous because that could take you away from where you need to be rather than where you are.
Give an example of it had happened with you with that.
So what happened with me was I'll go by every day in that house thinking I'm going to find a new piece of information that's going to help me get out of this, but it's going to come to me. But it wouldn't be in that type of sense. It'd be like I'd wake up every day and I'll spend it with the guys. They come back from uni. We're playing games. I'm not doing too much. I'm chilling. Maybe I'll help them clean the house. We go out for a bit. But you know me, I have zero at this moment. So I have zero to my name. You know what I mean? So what I would do is I would cook for the house. And that way I feel like I've done my share of made myself my own meal. You know what I mean? Because they already give me some place to stay. You know what I mean? So I'd clean the house and I'd cook as well. And then everyone would have. But then it would be to the point where it's just so I feel justified in my portion of that meal. You know what I mean? Obviously, these guys are really kind. They'll be like, bro, we'll cook. Doesn't matter, hold that. You know what I mean? But, I had that feeling. So going back to it, it's a lot of mental strain. And when you lie to yourself saying that, me just chilling day by day by day by day goes by, and you didn't change anything, and you expect your situation to change is insane. That's literally the cause of insanity. If you do the same thing and expect different results, that is the definition of being insane. Do you know what I mean? So I was doing that, lying to myself, making excuses, thinking that it was going to be okay and everything's going to be fine, until I had to wake up one day and I looked at the time and I said 2-3 months went by and I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? My life was stagnant. I didn't do anything. And it's okay because I was mentally recovering, but at that, I'm not saying everyone rush. There's no rush to anything, but if I'm currently in a deep situation that I need to fix and I could fix, but I choose not to, I'm only hurting myself, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I took a step back. I said, let me assess my problems. I told myself, I got these fines. I'm currently not living anywhere, da-da-da. So first of all, before I figure out how I'm going to get rid of those things, let's figure out if I did get rid of those things successfully, what am I going to do? Because I could get rid of those things, be in the same situation, and just carry fines from the next day, and I have nothing else to do. So I need something to bounce off of. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I was planning to go back to Canada. You know what I mean? I got family, got friends there. They're telling me, yeah, you stay with us, bro. Stay with us for as long as you want, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case is, your family. You stay with us and pick yourself back up and then do what you want to do. I said, cool.
I was telling you the same thing.
You were telling me the same thing. You said, come through, you're staying at my crib, and everything. Yeah, so Zaid was
we were trying, because I saw your situation from that distance, and I was like, what can I do?
Exactly, and I appreciate that, bro.
I feel like I was helpless. So I was like, at least just bring yourself here, then maybe we can figure something.
We can figure something out, you know what I mean? And me, myself, I didn't know what I was going to do when I get there. I haven't been to Canada in over 10 years, you know what I mean? So I didn't know what to do. So, but I said, you know, it's a step. I could figure it out over there, you know? At least that country, it's sort of like...
you have a citizenship, you can work
I could work there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to worry about me not having a visa or anything like that. Doesn't exist, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I'll go to Canada. So I need to get a flight money ticket. I need to get this and that. I had a MacBook. I had an iPhone. I had an iMac as well. I had all that. Sold it all. Okay. Got the money. Got the trip money. Whatchamacallit. I sold all my belongings back in my house. I would have to like go back to my house in Sharjah and like tell my little brothers to like give me all my stuff from downstairs and like sneak away and like I would sell all those things, all my belongings, get a bunch of money. Booked a flight ticket, and what I did is I booked a flight ticket, and subhanallah, the flight ticket that was the cheapest was to stop at London Heathrow, right? Mm-hmm. And then go from London Heathrow to Toronto.
Right.
And what I did is to make it even cheaper. I don't know if people know this, but I extended my London Heathrow to 1 month instead of like hours.
Oh,
and
okay.
that reduced the price a little bit because it looked like a one way.
Okay.
If that made any sense, so it was a lot cheaper. And I have family in London as well, so I was kind of wanted it to be a vacay. Like I'll go there, spend time with my family and my friends. I have friends from there too, so I'll spend time with my family and friends, and then go to Canada, right? So I was like, okay. First thing I did before I booked my ticket, obviously, is because I had a plan. I didn't want to book a ticket and then I'll be stuck here. So what I did was, subhanallah, again, during the time that I was planning all this, UAE said we're going to do the thing where, you know, they cut everyone's fines.
They recover, they forgive.
They forgive, right? So they do a forgiveness for a measly fee of 600 dirhams or something like that.
Oh, it's
and
for free, bro.
there are people over here, people say, you got to pay to get rid of your fines. But there are people that have fines over here. They've been illegal here. Like, their visa's been expired for over 20 years.
Yeah, decades.
Like, they have, like, almost 1 million dirhams in, like, fines. You know what I mean?
Some hardcore ones.
Yeah, and they cut it out for 600. And they just said, hey, after they cut it out, they give you a 6 months visa. And they say it's a fine job visa. If you can manage to find a job, then cool. If you don't manage to find a job, then you have to leave. And if you stay a day after, you go to jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like a grace period, but then if you mess up that advantage that they gave you, then they were going to get super serious.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So what I did is I took that. I said, okay, I did that. Then I sold more stuff. I made like money moves. Like I would help friends. Like friends would need things that are like, that's where like my street smartness came, because all my friends said you're a finesser, you know this, you know that, you know what I mean? But like with me is like, that's where like desperation pulled out worst case scenario. Let's say you're living in a staircase, you ain't got no money, you have no food, and you don't know how long you're gonna be there, and you know what I mean? I'm sorry, like I'm the type of guy where your friends can help you 100%, but I don't know why, bro. I think it's a pride thing, but I would rather die than ask, like, hey, can I borrow this much money? I need to eat. I don't even know where I'm going to get money next. How am I going to ask people like that? You know what I mean? But it's weird because if someone was in that position and they asked me, I'll drop it in a heartbeat. Like, I'll push it towards them. So
I'm like that.
It's weird, you know what I mean?
I'm like that.
If you have, you give, you know?
Yeah, so...
It's like that's what it is. You have more of a giving mindset than a taking.
Mindset.
Because you're less comfortable taking, but you're super comfortable giving.
Super comfortable, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So, literally...
It's easier to give.
Just, like, super thing. Like, you can learn to be that way even. It doesn't have to be nature.
Really?
I was always like that.
Okay.
Like, 2-3 years ago, I used to give, Zaid, you're not a sharing person. You don't share. You don't give. When I have food, I never used to share with people and stuff like that. Somebody in my life came and taught me how to be like that.
That's good, though. That's good that...
like... You know what I mean?
It's good that you have that. I don't even mind, like, even if you were the type where, like, you guys are sharing, like, you're taking, but you're also giving the same amount, you know what I mean, as well.
But it depends on the situation, though, don't you think? Like, if you're in a situation to be able to give, especially to people you know, like your friends, you know, you can give, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, almost everyone here has done that.
No, 100%.
But, like, if you're not in a situation to give in the first place...
No one's expecting, obviously, like, if you have... But if you have, like, it's comparison. So if you have $100 and you give 50 or you give 20...
Yeah.
Okay, but if you have $2 and you give 1, that's even more. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you understand? It's like what you have and how much.
That's dead ass. That's how we all treated each other. Like if I got.
I mean, we've known each other for like since like
Damn.
For me, like if I have 1 dirham, like so if I have 1 dirham and there's 3, it's getting split 3 ways. Like somehow, you know what I mean? It's getting split.
You get those chips that are half a dirham.
Half a dirham, you know what I mean? And I'm
chips.
eating half of those bags, so you're taking the other half. You know what I mean? It's like that.
I mean, I think like you remember back in the day when we used to like pool money to like go to the malls and stuff in Dubai.
Oh yeah,
yeah, bro.
Can I just say I love my city. I love Sharjah to death, bro. Like that city, bro, really taught us to be like this.
Bro, really did.
It really taught us to be like this.
It really did, man. It really
bro,
did.
like even like because in Sharjah there's a lot to do, but there's not like you're next to Dubai. Dubai is like that city. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we used to go to Dubai a lot, and to go there, it was like
Taxing
an economical report that we had to write every single time. We had to check the stock market.
Bro,
you know,
the amount of
get money for the taxi to go. The taxi will charge you 20 extra for crossing the border between Dubai and Sharjah. You cross the border, you go, and then over there, like Dubai is more expensive than Sharjah. We're not used to like that.
We're not used to that.
You know, like it was. Can I tell the story? I still remember this one time. We all went. I think it was 11 of us. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we went to the Dubai Mall.
Yeah. Okay.
And we sat in a fancy ass restaurant. 11 people at this table. All of us knew we were not getting shit. Right? Hold on. So I don't know if you remember, but we got one. I think it was me. I ordered a Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Or something. And it was the one with free refill.
I remember it was on the outside. You're sitting on the outside.
On next to the
I have a picture of it. You know that? We took a picture of it.
So we went there. We ordered 11 mans, and we ordered one Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Oh yes, bro.
I drink it. Ask for a refill. Pass it to TJ. TJ
bro.
Drink it. Pass to Tokio. Tokio drink it. Hussein, everybody, and the Pepsi, like we battery to Pepsi, like
bro.
fuck it.
I mean, we were walking up Dubai Mall's massive. We've been walking for hours, bro.
What do you mean? But you know how we finessed the thing? The waiter would come to us. The waiter would come to us and be like, "You guys ready to order?" Now we got like 5 more people coming, bro. We ain't ordering until they're here. Say you know, we just chill, post around, get little breadsticks, whatever appetizers, and just be like, "Them 5 people went to another restaurant. Sorry, just dip."
It was actually like that day. I think was the biggest like Sharjah flex on Dubai I've ever seen.
Dog, it was crazy, fam. That was on Aboudi Khaludi level. Bro. That was crazy, bro.
That's wild, but yeah. So like circling back really quick.
Yeah.
So before we circle back, let me shout out the sponsor. I forgot. It's minute 43 in the podcast. I forgot to shout out the sponsor.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, sponsor. Okay, don't take my bag away. Okay, so today's sponsor, and I'm gonna put you guys on it too because I don't know if you guys have used it before, but today's sponsor is called My Meal Diary app. And what that is...
it's the calorie planner, right?
Yeah, it's the calorie...
Yeah.
You know about this?
Yeah, I know about it.
Okay,
that's
say less.
fire. I use it, you know that.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy, bro.
Jeez, okay.
That's
say
crazy.
less.
That's lit.
So this app, basically what it does is it's...
3D waters on the come up.
You already know. But the app basically what it does is it lets you count your calories, but it's not a generic calorie counter, right? It's like... You count your calories, but the interface of this app is so simple that it's so much easier to use than the other calorie counter apps where it looks like an Excel sheet and you have to worry about logging the calories in the right place and this and that. This calorie counter recognizes the moment you open it, it's like the search bar is there. You can just immediately search for what you want without worrying where it goes exactly in your day. It checks the time that you put it in.
Whoa.
And tells you this is breakfast, this is lunch, this is dinner.
Oh, shit.
Right? So then... If let's say for example you have breakfast at 5 a.m. Then you want to have food at like 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is like breakfast time still, but it knows you already had breakfast, so the next one is snack.
Right.
So and you can customize it after, but it sets it for you like initially.
Oh, that's cool.
It has it's very goal oriented more than other apps, so to where like it sets like daily goals for you, and like it puts them super big in the screen, like you're this, you choose a goal for yourself, and then it tells you every day, you're this far away from reaching your goal. Example, protein. I want to eat 100 grams of protein a day. Mm-hmm. It tells you have 43 grams left in your day until you hit your 100, and then you've met your goal for that day. So it has like a lot of daily goals. It's super goal oriented. The interface is super easy to use. It's very simple. So you know how Apple has this thing where their selling point is simplicity? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with these guys. Their selling point is simplicity. Oh, yeah. You come in, it's easy to use. They're continuously expanding the database. There are some new updates that are going into this app too that are gonna make it so much it's already amazing. It's going to be that much better. And the cool thing is, there's a subscription on this app. So there's like a yearly subscription that you could get. And that yearly subscription is like, unlocks the whole app, all the database, all the features and everything. And it basically lets you set your goals on not just a daily level, but it lets you set your goals on a like weekly, yearly, like a longer term plan. And you can work towards them with the help of this app. And the cool thing is, like I've checked competition apps. This app charges you so much less. Like it's a third of the price of another competition app that I used to use, right?
Cool.
And I'll make it even cheaper for you. So I have a promo code through Deep Waters. It's going to be in the description. QR code is going to be on the screen somewhere. Promo code through Deep Waters. Use that promo code. You will get 50% off everything. Whether you want to sign up for a month, a year, a couple weeks, 3 months. I don't know. Like I think it's a month, 3 months, and a year.
Yeah, I'm deleting the app and I'm reinstalling it with that promo code.
Use it. Use it. And like it's an amazing app. Features are nice, and the price point. No one can compete with this. It's the price point. At that price point, you're not getting that much features from other competitors. So that's the sponsor for today's app. Today's episode, my meal diary app on Apple. If it's not, unfortunately, it's not on Android, but it's on Apple Store. App Store.
Here. The name's
so go
right
and
here.
pop that. Use the link through Deep Waters. But yeah,
check it out, guys.
It's in the description down below. Check it out.
That's for the sponsor. Okay, so back to topic at hand.
Right.
So that's essentially you booked your ticket and you're flying out to London Heathrow. And then from there, the plan is after a month to go to Toronto, right? When you landed in Heathrow,
right,
I feel like that's when things started to come together a little bit for you.
A little bit. It did. I landed in Heathrow, and for the first time in a long time, I felt the sense of like things are coming together because I made a plan and I made it happen. Does that make sense? Like it's going along, and it's the tiniest plan. It was like I just need to get need to get my broke ass that lives nowhere to like Toronto, and then I'll figure it out, and that will give me more opportunities and doors. And I was halfway there. You know
I want to mention sometimes there's clarity in just leaving the area where you're having the trouble. You know, just leaving and looking at it from like a wider perspective. You know.
No, but and then also leaving that area. That area may have been like not. God may not have put that area for you to succeed in. Not to fault the area, but it might just not be for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then if you go somewhere else, a whole bunch of new doors open.
A new beginning, you know?
True say. Also, at the same time, I didn't have a choice. Like, I had to leave. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, actually, you know, that's cap. Like, the only choices that led up to me, I had to leave. But I could have, like, in that 6 months after I cleared it, found a job. You know what I mean?
But you knew the move for you was to...
yeah, I knew the move that if I wanted to really do something, I need to continue my university. I didn't go uni. I need to do all those things, like set it up. Like, yeah, cool, I can find a job in a country that's so tough to find a job that pays so little and et cetera. At the time, like now it's a lot better, but at the time, it's really, like, it's not feasible for me to do those things. So I said, okay, I need to go. And then I went to London. I hung out with family. I actually, like, took a breather, enjoyed time, whatever the case is. And... then everyone in London convinced me that I could work there and I would stay at my family's crib. They would make food for me. They would do a lot of things for me. And all I need to do is work and save money and like send it back to my mom and et cetera and stuff like that. And start my career from here. And I thought about it and I said, are you sure? Like, should I be able to do this, et cetera and stuff like that? And she goes, yeah, you guys should do it. I spoke to my mom about it. My mom was like, hey, you got your family there, at least in Toronto. Like, you do have family, but it's only one family member, you know what I mean? You don't have, like, I have, like, cousins all over London, all over the UK, like, from north of the UK to the bottom. And so I said, you know what? All right, I made a decision. Cool. Now, what's my next step? To get a working visa in the UK, thankfully, Canada and the Commonwealth countries, they have something called Tier 5 visa. So if anyone's thinking about it, maybe I'm putting you guys on right now. They have a Tier 5 visa. Tier 5 visa is you don't need to be working under an employer or get a visa like that. It's just a working visa that allows you just to work. You know what I mean? You don't have to, like.
And it's only for the Commonwealth countries.
It's only for Commonwealth countries. And you can study too, so it's a working study visa. And if you have a student visa in the UK, you're only allowed to work 20 hours per week. But if you have a working visa, you can work up to like I think 70 or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. So with that, I applied to it. The only requirements is that I need to have £2,000 in my bank account. So when they see it, they're like, oh, okay, like you have good amount of money in your savings for you to live while you're looking forward to finding jobs and et cetera and stuff like that. which I don't understand how 2,000 is enough to do.
I know, given London, bro.
Yeah,
London.
you know what I mean? But anyway, so what I did was I had family in Sweden. I took a flight, 11 pounds. It was an 11 pounds return ticket, flight to Sweden. And because in the UK, you can't apply to their visa while you're in the UK. You have to leave the UK.
That's why you were in Sweden for a minute.
That's why I was in Sweden for a minute. So I was in Sweden for 3 months. And like I was working on the visa, applying for it, waiting for it to come back, etc. Got the visa, went back to London, started working straight away. And I worked at a supermarket at first. And then me working at a supermarket, I worked my ass off. I was making like £2,000 a month. I was hitting like overtime 60 hours, 50 hours.
But those taxes didn't make it look any good, huh?
Here's the thing about Tier 5 visa. You don't get taxed.
You don't?
You don't get taxed.
How?
Yeah, you don't get taxed. It's Tier 5 visa. So if anyone's thinking, hey, I want to just move to the UK, figure myself out, Tier 5 visa.
Canadians, listen.
Oh, by the way, if you're wondering how I got £2,000 to get into my bank account, I just had a bank account. My family pooled money together, sent it to my bank account, applied for the visa, waited 3 months. When I got accepted, I just sent it back to them. Literally. So
yeah, like that's blessings to the support system that you had over there.
Yeah, literally. Right? You know what I mean? So I did that, went back, started working. You do get taxed by your jobs, but you need to let them know you're on Tier 5 visa and they shouldn't tax you. And like the following month you get paid, they'll give you back your taxed money. You know what I mean? So always in the beginning, make sure, count your hours too, because in the UK you get paid by the hour. So count your hours too. Make sure that like you like add up the money, because sometimes money goes missing and people are just happy with a large amount, but keep it moving, but get your money's worth. You know what I mean? So I was working at a supermarket at first. Actually, no, I was working as a laborman. The first job I got over there was there was a art gallery and there was a movie scene going on. Like they're filming like a scene from a movie, and I had to carry like art pieces and stuff to the truck, to the place, from the truck to the place, and then the next day back. Mm-hmm. So I would do that, and then I'd get tipped and like stuff, and that was good money. That was like £200 a day. You know what I mean? It's disgusting good money, but whatchamacallit, it's like hard labor. Like you're carrying shit upstairs. There's no elevators. Shit's triple my weight. I can't break it. I can't damage it. You know what I mean? It's stressful. I come home, my back hurts. You know what I mean? Then I got a job in a supermarket. Started working checkouts. You know what I mean? Then I pushed overtime and I got all my money in, all my hours in. And then I applied to Google just before Corona started. You know what I mean? I applied to Google, and I bullshitted my CV. Said I worked here, I did this, I did that. What's the word for it, bro? I forget. Like your people that they call
references.
My references, right? My references was like my friends and my cousins and stuff like that.
Oh, he was my manager. Yeah. I did that for a friend one time. So, if Sobeys calls you or if whoever calls you, you're my manager at this place.
Straight up, you know what I mean? I put all my references down, and I just do that so they get the first interview in. Because you know, sometimes you don't even go for the interview. But once I get the interview, I know I got it. So I applied for Google. I applied for a assistant technician at the Google London headquarters. So it was really cool. And I was like, that's a good way to start a career, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool. Got first interview, second interview, third interview, fourth interview. I got tips for interviews on how to like nail them. Anyway, that's another side. But then they're like, okay, we're going to send you an offer letter, okay? And your starting term is in the next few months. Just be ready, because I didn't tell my job I left. I'm planning to leave. So I told Google that I need to give like 2 weeks notice and etc. and stuff like that. So like, it's cool. Your job term starts in 2 months anyway. So, you know, and then your probation period starts, so we can do whatever. I was like, cool. Before the 2 months can even kick in, Corona happens. They send me email saying we're retracting our state, like thingy, because we're going on lockdown. You're not going to work anyway. So we're retracting it. And I was like, damn. You know
I had a friend like that who had a job that got cancelled in Canada.
Literally.
It happens.
It happens, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn. So I continued working, which is thankfully, because if I quit and then they retracted it, I'd have nowhere to go, you know what I mean? But nah, so they retracted it. I just continued working at the supermarket. And then I applied to a bank. I applied to a sales position at a bank. And then they upgraded me from a sales position because of the interviews and the CVs to the mortgage and finance counter. Okay. So I deal with like mortgages and finance and stuff like that.
Also like collecting the data from the...
banks. Collecting the data, tracking loans, offers, and like etc. and stuff like that. And like tracking finances as well for people and calling them up, you know what I mean? Making sure they're okay. I wouldn't really deal with customers. I'll just be on the backside. Yeah, I applied to that. Went through like 5 interview stages. Got the job. Started working at the job too. And there are people in my. By the way, like I didn't mention this. The university that I went to for 2 months over here, Emirates Aviation, they have my high school grades, and we couldn't pay the fees for the university because that's where like my mom was financially struggling at the time. So we couldn't pay the fees. So they said we're not gonna give you back your grades, your high school grades, until you pay us.
That's messed up.
So when I went to London, right? When I went to London, I didn't have I didn't have my high school certificate.
You're just applying just like that.
I literally, like, in their eyes, I don't have a single academic. Like, I've never went to school. Like, even high school, I never went to high school. You know what I mean? So I'm working at this bank at this point, and there are people around me that have masters, and they're like 45, 50 years old, and they get paid the same as I do. You know what I mean? I managed to like snake my way to the top and get there, and then I'm working at that point, and I say, hey, like, you know, this ain't too bad, whatever the case is. I'm working there, and then a couple months later, like my dad, Allah had me passed, so I came back and like, you know, helping the family out over here and stuff like that, and that was a step back because like, bro, I don't wish.
No, but you came back before your father passed.
Yeah, I came back before my father passed.
So your initial plan was to come back on vacation.
Yes, my initial plan was to come back on vacation. I booked my ticket only for 12 days, just to make sure like family's good and everything like that. Came back here for only 12 days, and during the 12 days, my dad had cancer, right? He got cancer, and like this is the moment where like all the past bullshit and everything like that got thrown out the window. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, this is deep now. You know what I don't know. I have a sense of weirdness with my family where it's like, I went through a lot of stuff. I'm talking about like a lot of stuff to the point where it's like, I never slept a good night in the house that my dad would like do shit to me in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like even when I came back for those 12 days, I would feel so uncomfortable staying in the house. Like it hit me like that. And my dad would be like in my room and I'd be in the living room, and we haven't spoken ever since then. And he would leave the house without speaking to me. I'd leave the house without speaking to him.
Oh, so you were still not on speaking terms?
So no, not on speaking terms.
But he let you stay in the house?
But he let me stay in the house, you know what I mean? And so, like, I, like, didn't know, like, and then when I heard that, like, he had cancer, I kind of, like, opened his room door, and I saw him, and I just gave him a hug, and we both started crying and stuff. And then he started, like, taking me on, like, road to go to work, his work, and we started talking again. But, you know, like, it's really tough for a person to change their mindset, you know what I mean? So I had super long hair. My dad said, cut it. I said, I'm a grown man, you know? Like, I don't really need to cut my hair if I don't want to and stuff. And he threw a fit. And I was like, whoa. Like, you know, there's no need for that, you know what I mean? I'll cut my hair, but, you know, there's no need for the whole fitness or whatever. Me, I'm trying to be reasonable, but my way, the highway, you know what I mean? So we got into an argument, right? A big fight. We got into a big fight.
But you did end up cutting your hair.
I did end up cutting my hair. I got into a big fight, right? I ended up cutting my hair because I decided like it's what's best for it, but my dad still ended up not speaking to me after that fight. So it's a huge fight. My dad didn't end up speaking to me. My dad took a flight from here to Somalia, right, on business, and I cut my hair the night before he left, and I saw him, and I was sleeping in the living room. I saw him grab his bags and leave the house, right, to go on his business trip, and I didn't say a word to him. He didn't say a word to me. He left to Somalia, caught COVID, and then went to a hospital in Kenya and passed away. So the last interaction I had with my pops was a huge fight. I don't wish that on anybody on this earth. You get what I'm trying to say? And then he passed away, and it's even worse because like when I knew that they're putting him into cytosis, where like they force you into a coma, because he caught COVID, and then COVID got him before the cancer did. So his lungs got filled up with too much liquid, so they had to force him into a cytosis, I think it's called. And when I heard that he was in there, the chances of you coming out of that was like practically zero. So I wanted to go and like see him.
Wait, did his body go into shock?
I have no idea, bro.
Some medical stuff happens, but basically he doesn't respond and he doesn't come out. It's very
so he became unresponsive.
Yeah. Okay. And they forced him into the coma, and I tried my best to book a ticket. Like I got money somehow, some way, booked a ticket to go to Kenya, grabbed my passport, was about to leave, and then I heard he passed away. You know what I mean? So like you know, it's that I still know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not over it. I don't think I'll ever be over it. But it's something I have to live with. You know what I mean? I feel like that goes for a lot of people.
You have to make peace with it.
Peace with it. Like so somehow, even if I don't make peace with it, it's something that I have to learn to live with. You know what I mean? I just hope like Allah forgives me, my father forgives me for everything I've ever done, you know, and everything. And it's a very tough thing, and I'm still recovering from that. It just happened just a year ago.
God rest his soul.
Literally 3 days year ago. 3 days a year ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from it. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough thing to do to like get out of that. You know, and I'm not the only one going through it. It's my whole family going through it. My mom's going through it. Cause my older brother's going through it. My little brothers are going through it. You know what I mean? I'm not the only one going through it. And at that moment in time in my family, I was the only one to help provide for things because my mom didn't have a job. My mom was providing us because my mom had real estate. You know what I mean? And she was getting her monthly rent, and no one was living there. COVID. You know what I mean? 2 of her properties were being refurbished. No one can live there. No one's like physically able to live there. And the other property, no one is living in it. You know what I mean? So, and they're just taking like money off of like service taxes and stuff like that. So, my mom couldn't pay for like a lot of things, and I decided those 12 days that I'm going to stay in the country. You know what I mean? I said I'm staying here. I'm not going nowhere. So I stayed here. I started taking care of the family. I started hustling. I started like my dad had a lot of company. My dad had a company. My dad had his own resources in finance and like his own wealth, his own inheritance, and so we went through the Sharia law into inheritance to help the family provide as much as we can. We got a lot of headache. I'm still going through that right now. I'm still going in the court orders to this day. It's been a whole year. I'm still going through all that. But throughout every day, like I'm always on survival mode. I need to feed my family, put a roof over their head. You know what I mean? Make sure my brothers are able to go to school. Make sure like, you know, like a lot of things are a lot paid for. And a lot of people are saying like, why don't you go just to Toronto and just like, you know, settle up from there? We don't have a house in Toronto. We don't have money to go to Toronto and start it up. You know what I mean? Which is why like I'm working hard right now, providing everything, trying to get like a year's worth of like resources to my family, and then go to Toronto myself and set up their health cards and everything, give them a house to stay, do all that, and then so they can come in on a smooth thing. You know what I mean?
So you're trying to circle them back. I thought Toronto was just you, but is everyone trying to go?
Like a year after I'm there.
But that's the plan.
That's the plan, inshallah. But I'm not gonna.
God has taught us.
God has taught me time and time again that, you know, it is what it is when it comes to the plans. I'm taking it at half heart, and I'm not gonna lie. I've all my life, because I've went through those type of traumas, I always play the devil's advocate. I always play like the worst case scenario. So if the worst case scenario happens, I know like, you know, hey, you know, like I've already predicted this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not predicted it, but it comes along the lines where it doesn't hit me as emotionally or as mentally as I thought it would be, make me go crazy. You know what I mean? So like I always play devil's advocate when I'm trying to like do the smallest things. You're trying to go to university, get to this university, apply to like your second best, your third best, your fourth best. Obviously, which is now what normal people do. But let's say you don't get any of those jobs. What is your other plan? You know what I mean? Let's say you don't get those universities. What's your other plan? What's your other plan? Think about it. It doesn't take that long to think about it. Think about it. Have a good thought about it. Do your research even on the other plans. Then devil's advocate, worst case scenario, you get it. Best case scenario, you feel even happier that you didn't have to go through those worst case scenarios.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Makes sense. So then now you've been here since then.
I've been here since then.
And you've been hustling. But
I've been hustling, bro.
You basically, I think there was that point in your life where you were staying in the staircase and stuff like that. And
it's crazy because, you know, out of our whole group right now, I make the most money, you know that?
Yeah, that's actually true now.
I mean, he's feeding a whole family, bro.
I didn't mean that like a brag or no. I mean like it's crazy how like
come back for you.
How it's crazy how like now like but to put something I want to really stress into that is that like if I had my own way about going about stuff, I would not be able to like make as much money to feed 6 people and put a roof over their head and do all those things. Already. Yeah. But because of all my situations that I'm in right now, I was so desperate and pressure like would hit me, and it was like if I don't do it, everyone's dying, everyone's this and that. You know what I mean? So I got to do this. I gotta put food on the table. I gotta do those things, and it's possible. And I did those things, and now we got food on the table. I fill gas in my car. And my brothers get their weekly allowance and etc. And like we still got the court orders, and you know like things.
Like even us, like me, I took a quote unquote more standard path to money making, like uni and then work, right? I don't make that type of money. right now. Like my money is enough for me to be financially sustainable.
You're right.
Not for anybody else.
My money is my money. I'm not gonna say it's shady. It's not shady. I don't do no shady business at all. Nothing like that.
But it's hustle money.
My money is hustle money. So it's not like a salary. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get money. I have to go out and chase it, and it's stressful, and I'm tired of it. I've hit my limit. I've actually spoken to you guys like a week ago about it. Like I've hit my limit. Like I really don't know when I'm gonna get the next amount of money, and I don't know how much I'm getting. It's just like whatever comes my way, and I go through those opportunities. And I've been doing that for a whole year, and it's been pressuring me so much to the point where it's like, I need to figure out a way out of this. And my way out of this is I did what I did back all the way in the villa, my Hassan's villa.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the situation I'm in right now? You know what I mean? And what I need to do about it, what can I do about it, and what is a path that will give me more options. Not more of a plan, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, inshallah. It's gonna be what is gonna give me more options for myself, you know what I mean? What is gonna open doors, you know what I mean? What's gonna help me alleviate the stress that I'm having right now. So that went on to the plan about me going to Canada, back to Canada, bring my family in a year later, getting their health cards and everything in order, everyone going for a doctor's checkup, everyone choosing to my brother's finishing their school. My mom, I get to take care of her. I get to, if I go into a year over there, I can get a job, work up, get a credit score, get a mortgage on a house, or do something, put a down payment in, because I got savings now, I do put a down payment in, get a crib, pay monthly, little amount, family lives there, I get to go uni and work, or have investments, etc. Like, more opportunities can open up for us over there rather than over here.
Yeah,
so
because citizen. At the end of the day,
you know what I mean?
Right?
That's a place where like I can call home. Like over here, I could live here for 45 years, and if like something happens to me, I have no place to go. You know what I mean? So I just decided, hey, I need to do all those things, and that's why I'm planning on doing those things in the future. But as of mindset wise, you know, any advice I give to you guys, bro, and I tell you guys this to the daily, and I tell anyone that's listening as well, is at the end of the day, things happen, right? But things are not happening to you. Mm-hmm. They're just happening. Like it sounds crazy for me to say that, but like really and truly, things happen regardless if it was happening to you or not. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you guys, like we all come to an understanding, the fact that we all like agree on a certain thing is because we went through similar experiences. Let's say, for example, you listen to a love song. You know what I mean? You listen to a love song, a breakup song. It's a good song, you feel emotional about it, but you feel differently emotional about it if you actually went through heartbreak, if you actually went through what that song's telling you, the lyrics hit you different, you know what I mean?
It's that relatability of it.
It's that relatability of it, because you went through similar experiences, and because you had to go through that experience for you to understand it that way, a lot of people do. A lot of people went through heartbreak, there's people in much worse situations than I've ever been all my life, and I say alhamdulillah that I'm in the position I am today, you know what I mean? So things always happen. Things always happen everywhere. For you to always say like, oh, it happened to me, or what, like I'm trying and it's not working or whatever. It's just, I promise you, that situation that led you to be in that position is like a one-time thing. You change something about that situation and you're gonna have a different outcome. Like I'm recalling earlier what I said, you do the same thing. If you're in this situation and you continue to be in that situation and expect different results, you're going to get nowhere. You're going to be insane. So it's like changing your situation, assessing what you got, and you're always going to get different results. And using those results, you gain your experience, you're going to know what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean? New results come in, you'll get to know if that result is a good result or a bad result, or if you can use that result, or off of the information that you got. Oh shit, sorry.
You're good.
Or off of that information that you got off of that result, you can use that information in the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you may not need that information now. Like that doesn't help me now, but in the future, like, oh crap! Like I know I had a piece of information that will help me in this. You know what I mean? So it's always like that type of energy. Have a broader outlook instead of narrowing your mind and thinking like there's only one linear path. Like I promise you, it's very complex. Like,
never let the stress like narrow your view.
Yeah,
you always have to step back and look.
Yeah, for real. But you know, it's tough, man. It's tougher. It's easier said than done.
In the moment, in the heat of the moment, it's very tough. Yeah,
it's very tough, man.
TJ, I want to ask you. So you had another similar experience about it too?
I mean, it's nothing to his level, but
nothing,
No. Don't ever say that, bro. Because don't ever say that because
Here, let me.
saying that.
But my situation is more like I couldn't
No,
spend
no, but
daddy's
like-
mommy's
like,
money and
I've,
whatever
like-
I want, however I wanted.
Nah,
but
talk about it.
No, but it's crazy
Yeah.
because sorry to cut you off. You can't say like nothing compared to yours or you have it worse because I've went through something deep and I could have someone sitting down next to us that went through something deeper or like whatever the case is, but I can't say that like that person like is dealing like for example.
Different things affect different people in different ways.
Yeah,
so
you know what I mean?
Like what happened to you, he might look at it as deep, but maybe something that I might see not that deep that happened to him. You look at it and be like, oh, thank God that didn't happen to me.
Exactly.
Because if that happened, like, it's different pain thresholds, different activators for everybody.
Exactly, because the stresses I went through, you know what I mean, and I put in my head top, like literally, like made me like sturdy as I am today. Like I'm cool, I can think this way, that way, you know what I mean. But other people that be put in my position, they'll probably kill themselves, or like you know, other people that be put in my position would stress dearly about it. But if I were to be put in any type of their situations, even though maybe you think it's not deep, I could bug out. I could be like, what the hell? Even though I haven't bugged out yet, you know what I mean?
God makes the lane for everybody. He doesn't give you what you can't handle. Exactly. He doesn't give you more than you can handle, but he doesn't give you what you can't handle either.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you can handle what you went through. Like, I know that's so easy for me to say. But we could each handle what we each went through because that's what God wrote for us.
Deadass.
You understand?
You see what I'm saying?
Maybe I would never be able to handle what you went through.
But you say that, but you wouldn't know until you actually step into it.
But you see, like, if God writes it in my lane one day, I'll know I can handle it. Because the challenge is in front of me, now I know where to go.
Exactly.
But as long as he didn't write it in my lane, I'm worried about what's in my lane.
Exactly.
You understand?
But like there's a part of your brain that like that probably like never opened up to use that part of your brain in that situation. Does that
You know when I felt this?
So
I felt this in when I went abroad. For the first time having to deal with being abroad.
Yeah.
That's when I felt that.
Yeah.
You get when you're forced to change.
Yeah.
When you're forced to there's no way out. That's it. You're here now, you're in the situation,
you have
now
to
you
deal
have
with
to
it.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's circle back.
Before we move on, do you think like I was just gonna ask you a question real quick. Do you think like if maybe you had like someone externally outside of like you've talked to us, we've given you advice and all that. Do you think if you had like if you had therapy or something, would that help you? Like,
how would you have responded to therapy?
Channel, or are you on that? You got brute force this life. There's no other way. Talk to a therapist is like going to the house.
I think therapy is good for. I think therapy is good for like releasing all that negative energy and venting out. But I don't think.
Do you think so? Your family and members would look at you different? Like, why are you going to therapy? Like, I know a lot of people. Especially
for real. Like, if I went to therapy, no, not really. My mom and my family, like my cousins and stuff like that, they have actually asked me to go therapy. They've asked like my little brothers and my older, and my mom herself, like my external family, so like my cousins and my aunties and stuff, they've asked my immediate family, all of us, let's go therapy because we went through something deep and stuff like that. And they've asked me to go through therapy too, but I don't know why I'm against therapy because I know it's therapy. You know what I mean? It won't hit me if I know like I'm paying people to do it. You know, I don't know, like I don't think therapy is for me personally. Like I know it helps people. I know it gets people through things, and I just think for me personally it's not.
Can I tell you something? Try it first, then see. I was like you. I used to think like that too, and then I actually had a friend. I was going through a hard time 6-7 months ago about something. Y'all know what it is, but I'm not getting into it today. But I was going through a hard time, and my friend forced me. I have a friend in Canada. He appeared on one of the earlier episodes. Parth, shout out Parth, right?
Oh yeah.
Parth forced me to go therapy. Says, Zaid, I got the number for you. This is the number. University is free. You don't have to pay for it because university gives it to you free. All you have to do is call and set up an appointment. This is it. Do it right now.
But can you incriminate yourself?
Huh?
No,
through a therapist.
No, it's a doctor-patient relationship.
No, you can't. The one I did, they gave a disclaimer. They were like, they were like, they're entitled to report to the police if they suspect anyone's in danger. If they suspect, like, basically, it's on them.
It's on them to have
like, but it depends on. I think it depends on which therapist I think the uni one they had that because they was watching for like, I think uni school shootings and stuff like they would look out.
Toronto, the school shootings.
I'm not saying that there is. I don't know if there is or there isn't, but I'm saying it's probably what they're looking for, right? I don't know. I'm guessing, but with me they said that. But I would tell you, like, obviously, like, I'm not telling anybody incriminate yourself. Don't say anything you're not supposed to be saying, but go for that mental healing.
Forget the 12. forget Kati. Forget the 12.
But yeah, so I'm thinking, try it just one time. Go for one session. See how you feel. You're not gonna heal yourself. It's not gonna heal you. It's gonna give you the game, right?
Yeah.
You have the hustle game to deal with the world around you. You need the game to deal with the world inside.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know what to
That's
do.
a bar. That's so deep.
You understand? Like
That's some deep shit, bro.
Like I always think of it like there's people like, oh, I'm so troubled, depressed, whatever. But you don't like. It's a science. Mental health is a science, right? Like self-help is a science. Like there's studies, research, papers, methods, practices. How are you like? It's like telling you go play football and I don't explain the rules to you. You get a handball, like, oh, why did I get fouled? I touched the ball with my hand. You don't know you're not supposed to touch the ball with your hand.
Yeah.
You don't know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Once you start to learn a little bit, now you can deal. You learn those little things by what? When you studied science.
Okay.
Some of us, like I was put in a situation where I had to alleviate my mental strain from something and I was forced to learn. So that's why I learned it. But I don't want everybody to be going through
it's a harsh change. Yeah.
Learn the game. Like therapy teaches you the game. Read this book. This book will tell you something about some kind of avenue of mental health that you're experiencing. You learn the game for that. Now, when you get in a destructive thought pattern, you know how to resolve it. Yeah. You understand? So that's my thing with therapy.
For real.
But anyway, we've put off TJ for a minute. Let me.
I'm so sorry, but let's go back. Yeah.
Okay, so with you, I think the biggest thing, correct me if I'm wrong, was the uni situation as well.
Yeah.
Which you had.
Because my parents couldn't pay for the one I wanted to go to, and I was losing it. Well, that was when I was younger, though. You know, my mindset was back then, graduate high school, choose a good uni that you can get into, and your parents can do the rest.
Right.
But then reality hit me. Your parents can do their best, but their best is not necessarily what you want for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So then I had to then my parents explained the situation where my dad just left a job from the US. He just left there. You know, it was a couple of years before I graduated, and then I'm assuming everything was still okay. Then later on I figured out, it's not exactly okay. His income wasn't like it used to be. So especially it was nearing year 11, year 12.
Especially with the housing, because your dad used to be a university professor at a university that gave free housing.
Yeah, so then he has to also more expenses plus a lower salary since he has to pay for the accommodation now, and he had to the whole financial situation. He had to sell off a few cars that we had, and then he also had to at the same time buy new cars. You know, family's massive. 8 people in the household. And so it's a whole situation. So when college came around, and in the past it was he's like, I got you. You can do whatever you like, wherever you need to go. It's going to be affordable. And then he said he couldn't afford it. And in my head, so far past 4 or 5 years that I've been asking, it was calm. And then when he said it wasn't calm, it was me being a young 18-year-old, was scratching my head thinking what went wrong. And then life. And then I had to open my eyes to life. It's not always going to be your parents can always afford to pay for this, pay for that, Sometimes you have to work towards it.
I think also another thing is that we talked about earlier with that is here it's not like you can get a job while you're...
Exactly, that's a disclaimer that you need to mention. TJ has no choice but to rely on his parents at that age.
Yeah, and there's no
there's
student
nothing,
support.
Yeah, there's no at all TJ can make money in any type of way, you know what I mean? It's illegal for him to try and do something where it's cash by hand, you know what I mean? It's illegal to get caught, and it's crazy.
Your dad is the sponsor of your visa, so your dad has to be the one who pays and finances you, right? That's it.
Yeah, and then alhamdulillah, I found a program that my parents could afford.
Wait, but before you even found that program, so what did it take for you to then, when you realized that door was closed for you, what did it take for you to then be okay, I need to pivot and find a new path?
So I took a gap year from, from 18 to 19. Okay. I took a gap year. So I was just researching my options online, just chilling, doing my thing, trying to explore my interests, right? Because before I went into it, I better damn well know what I'm going to be forcing my parents to pay for. No, not forcing them, but I don't want to waste their money.
Especially now that
now that I know the real situation, and I have 3 other siblings who are nearing college age. My brother right now is doing his own thing, right? he's doing well, right? He's getting paid well for what he's doing. Is like
Alhamdulillah, yeah, your brother is
entrepreneur type stuff, right?
Yeah, with the creator economy, YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, creator economy. Yeah, it's working well for him, right? So and then
actually, I need to hook up your brother with my cousin.
Yeah,
he's in the creator economy as well. I'll make that connection after the thing stops rolling.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if they're working like if it's the similar situation. I'll link you up. I'll see. You guys can see if it works out. What else was I gonna say?
So your brother now he makes more than he used to.
Yeah, make a lot more.
Sorry, these things are bad.
enjoy it, bro. They're there for you.
I got to the situation where I found what I wanted to do. It was business and finance. I found a college that's affordable. I knew it was going to be like a year or two, and then I'm going to transfer. I did the year.
Transfer where?
To a better program. Right, okay, it was just business.
So you were in the UAE doing a program, and then transfer. You were gonna go.
I always thought it would be nice to go abroad, right? To go to Canada or the US or something, but like it wasn't dead set. Has to be right.
Right.
But and then I got the business. I got into the business program, and then I finished it. I got through the year. I transferred to a better business program with it's accounting and finance strictly. It's better than just business alone, just basic business. And then, I got the opportunity to transfer to Canada, right? And it was also affordable. It was a college, so in Canada, in Toronto. I applied. I got accepted. Everything's good. I talked to my parents. They're willing to take the cost because it's only going to be like a year or two, and then I'm graduating at the time. And then my sister
gives you a way to put your foot in the door there to start your life there.
Yeah, and then my sister would be 2 years behind me. So by the time I'm done with my undergrad, my sister will be going into her undergrad, right? Since my brother isn't going to college right now.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing. So my parents were like, okay, that's a good avenue, right? So the cost will be not double at any time. It's going to be constant. So then I got the thing. I had to apply for my study permit in Canada. It's going good, right? I just have to wait for them to accept, and then I get the report. I get the application back. They denied it, and then I think I showed you, right?
Yeah, I've seen the email.
I checked the application. The only reason
blew my mind. This absolutely blew my mind.
I mean, given it's around COVID time.
No, but we're Canadian. When you explain the reason, it blew. This is some Trump shit. Continue.
So on the thing, it was only three. It was they gave me 3 reasons, right? But all 3 reasons were literally the same thing repeated. They couldn't guarantee based off my status in the UAE that I would return to the UAE after my years of study, right? They want you to return after that. It was listed basically listed 3 times. It wasn't anything about my finances.
It's you couldn't guarantee that you stay. You couldn't guarantee that you leave. You couldn't guarantee that you have the flight, something like that.
Yeah, so it wasn't ever about my finances or my application or anything. I thought it was going to be one of those things, right? It was going to be maybe they'll think I don't have enough money to support myself or something. Nah, bro. They couldn't guarantee that.
Literally every international student,
right?
Hold those grounds.
Given, I'm thinking it was the peak of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And they were still trying to figure it out. Canada was in lockdown at the time. So I'm maybe that's the reason. And then, okay, my parents are okay, the cost of just applying to that and, you're already in a program right here. They're not planning to pay for another application.
How much does the application cost?
The whole process was probably
7 racks?
3,000 dirhams, maybe.
Oh,
4,000 dirhams.
Yeah. That's like a 1K plus Canadian. That's not cheap,
I mean, it probably cost me another 200 Canadian dollars to reapply. But then my parents are you know what? You're already in the program now. The living costs already. They were cool with the living costs, right? But then they're okay, COVID. They're not sure what's going to happen. The future is not certain, right? So the living costs, you can just live with us. You already have your own room. You can use the car basically whenever you need. Just, you don't need to worry about food, right? You're living in a familiar situation, so just stay, right? And that got me a little uptight about that a bit, You
put you in your mind.
Yeah, I'm why would they just deny me like that? It wasn't anything I could actually control. It was just at that point it was at the opinion of at the opinion of the
Canadian border.
officer. It wasn't anything on my end. So I'm like, yo, does that guy have like a vendetta or something? Does he just know my name for somewhere?
That's crazy.
Then I started my program here last year, and then I got over it. Just focus on myself and graduate hopefully by 2023. Masters by the end of 2023, 24.
And now the plan is shifted that the masters is the one you want.
Yeah, so like the program I'm doing now, when my parents saw it, they did a deal to like get your cut down on your fees for your masters, right? My parents saw it the way out the option, since it literally cost the same to do that 1 year, that 1 or 2 years in Canada. It cost the same to like cover the masters, like the tuition for the masters, right? So they bit the bullet. They paid everything up. So my final year with this plus the masters with my current uni, it's all covered. So I really don't have to worry about tuition.
Okay,
so yeah, they're paying that off. So like, yeah, so I'm literally just chilling, doing my best to get my grades up. I really don't have to worry about anything other than how much more money I can beg my parents to waste.
Then what are you trying to do for your masters if you're trying to go masters?
I mean,
you trying to do that
at this point, I might as well not stress myself, do my master's year, and then, if I want to migrate, I'll just migrate.
It's always an option. Yeah. But I think that's a bit down the road still.
Yeah.
You already just got over this stress, you're in your uni, you don't have to think about that just yet.
So again, if I want to try my master's, again, it's the program, right? The college over in Canada also provide the same program, right? So if I really want to change my master's, I can probably just ask for a refund from these guys.
Go there.
Yeah, just go there.
But that's a bullet for another day. But like, do you see how, like sorry, 1 second. Yeah. So do you see how you had this like obstacle? You thought in your mind you were 100% going Canada, and I think in my mind it was the same too. I was in Canada waiting like, yo, TJ's about to,
It would have been fun though. It would have been fun.
I mean, how many times I said I'm pulling up your way? Bro, I was in London, bro. I said, yeah, my flight's in like a month. Ended up staying. It's crazy.
It's actually mad. But something.
Bro, imagine the whole gang just chilling out in North America, bro.
Bro, God said, Zaid, you're not having any of your home friends in Canada. Just God told me like this. But no, on a more serious note than that, it was a big shock. Like in a way, even for you both.
Yeah, when you came back visiting, when I showed you that thing, you were like scratching your head like, what's going on, bro?
Right?
Yeah.
But you picked yourself back up off it.
I mean, to me, it was deep, but like to the wider context, it wasn't that deep. I have my program. It's not like I'm not going to college. It's just I'm not going to college where I want to go to college. That's it.
Other than that,
I'm doing the program I want to do. That's it. So my complaints are literally just my own selfishness or like my own.
I don't think it's healthy to frame it like that. I think it's not selfishness.
It's not as deep as I made myself to believe it was.
Are you convincing yourself it's not that deep?
It's not that deep.
Are you convincing yourself it's not that deep?
If the border officer,
you know what it is. I think he is like more looking at. Like, for example, when he feels horrible from that situation, he'll look at the next person and the next thing and be like, oh, but somebody has it worse than me. So then he expresses gratitude for his existing, like what he has.
You always have to be positive, right? You always have to be positive, bro.
I think the key is gratitude.
Yeah. Gratitude and positivity,
for what you
Humbleness,
have,
bro.
A positive mindset always goes a long way, bro.
Yeah.
You know what's a really big blessing? Expressing gratitude for the bad things that happen to you. Like isn't like it, you know how in Islam there's a thing where if something bad happens to you, you still say Alhamdulillah?
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. Like, if, let's say, for example, in your situation, if in that, like, moment of, like, at your lowest low, you're sleeping in the staircase somewhere, like, for a few weeks, in those moments, if you said, God, I'm thankful for the struggle, and you try to think like that, wouldn't that have done a lot for your perspective? I know it did for me. If I had, like, other things I was going through, dealing with being abroad, having to manage my own finances, not having money to go for groceries and stuff like that, I was, God, okay, thank you for doing this to me. It doesn't help you that much, but it gives you a perspective to push beyond.
To think a lot.
You live and you learn, bro. You live and you learn.
For sure. For sure.
For real.
But yeah, so Zach or Tokio gave. I'm not used to calling him
whatever.
Tokio.
You can call me whatever.
Yeah, this guy's Zach to me. But Zach basically gave.
My shorties call me Poppy. My Spanish girls call me Chula. You know what I'm saying?
So Zach gave his piece of advice about it after he talked about his situation and he discussed his takeaways from it. TJ, I want to ask you, what's your takeaways for your situation? What you if somebody was in a similar position to you where they can't go abroad or they can't go for the program that they want, and by the way, it's harder when a bunch of your friends have gone abroad and you can't go. Like, I think that also plays a role.
It stays in your mind like that's the norm. So
yeah,
why am I not normal type vibe? Like, it hits you
feel?
like that. Yeah.
So in somebody in your situation, all of those things happening, like, what advice would you give? What do you want the takeaway to be?
I mean, if they're in like a very similar situation to me where it's only about where you're going to college, not if you can go to college or how or where. But like
but at the end of the day, it's like a plan that you had in your mind, because moving abroad is a big deal. Like, you put it in your head that I'm gonna go start my life again. I'm gonna go move out my parents' crib finally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all these things. It didn't happen. That's regardless of whether or not you're getting your education, that's a big shock in and of itself.
I know.
How that make you, like, what would you like advise somebody who's in that position? Gets a big shock as well, like in terms of the plan that doesn't go to plan.
So, a big shock like that, you just have to think. You have to center yourself and like realize the wider situation, right? So if it's really that deep, I'll grant it to you. You can probably like stress a bit if the situation is really that deep, you can stress a bit. But if it's not really that deep, like in my situation, sure, you can have your moment of like grief, but like at the end of the day, everything's going well for you. Other than that detail, you just have to move on. You just have to like, roughneck it on. Just.
But how do you recommend that? Like, what would you?
You focus on the future. That's it. Like literally, you accept the present. And then like you focus on the future. You hope that you can do your best to make that future. If it's not in one form or the other, and like the future you wanted did not materialize in the form you wanted, right? So let's say for me, I want to go to Canada or the US to study, right? That didn't happen. Okay, I want to go to Canada or the US to live. I can make that happen. That's more likely to happen if I just focus on like getting my degrees, right? Getting work experience and then deciding to move. That happens a lot more often than like students going from one country to study in the other,
No, for sure.
So it's the same outcome but different circumstances within the outcome,
You go a little bit later, but you can still go.
You can still go. Yeah.
Right.
So let's say delayed gratification,
For sure. With that being said, guys, we're coming towards the end of the episode. I want to ask you guys super quick, both of you, Zach, TJ, any shout-outs that you guys have, anybody that you want to big up, this is your time, anything you want to plug?
Hey, man, I want to plug up, first and foremost, my family, my mom first. I want to plug up my pops. I want to plug up I want to plug up all my little bros, my family. Plug up the squad, bro. Plug up my guys, bro. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my guys, no count. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the guys, KD, shout out to Hussein, shout out to Rod, shout out to all these guys, bro. Shout out to Sidani, shout out to Omar Shahadi, bro, these guys should have been here, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
Shout out the whole man there.
Shout out the whole man then, bro. Shout out everybody, bro. And shout out you guys for listening in, bro. Shout out you guys, bro. If you made it this far to the end, you guys are gangster. And also, I want to mention something real quick.
Tell me.
I lost my train of thought. See, I had it at the beginning.
I feel like you had a punchline ready. You had something ready.
I had something so nice ready, but it's all good. It's all good. Maybe you guys might catch it next time.
So what about you, TJ?
Yeah, same. Just shout out to the guys. Shout out to the fam. This is quite the experience. My first podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing real good out here. You guys.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I've been listening in since you started too.
Yeah, you guys are my day ones. They've been watching since day one, man.
Oh, we always got your back, bro.
Every week, Zach
got
sends me a snap of him watching us on his TV. I appreciate that. I just want to let you know.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
It's all good, bro. Your podcast
A1
man,
day ones, bro. We always got your back no matter what.
100%, fam. 100%. Like, I appreciate that from bottom of my heart. Like, I know, like, we don't be saying that much, but
For real, man.
But anyways, I want to shout out my family, my mom and dad, my brother Hussein, who couldn't be on the podcast episode with us.
Oh, yeah, shout out Hussein, for real, man.
Shout out
Hussein.
Hussein.
He ran across you acting like a fool recently.
Yeah, man.
We missed him today. We definitely missed him today, right? But yeah, with that being said, shout out My Meal Diary, the sponsor of today's episode.
Shout out to My Meal Diary. You guys need to get it down below in the description below.
Download everything, like, get that out.
I always want to say that, you know that? Shout out, get it description down below. Always want to say that, that's dope.
That's nice, man. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast.
Alright, man.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate
it,
bro.
guys. But yeah, with that being said, wait, hold on. Pose for the thumbnail one time. For the thumbnail of the podcast.
What are we doing?
Whatever you want, bro.
Throw the seeds up.
That's not seeds.
Throw the crips up. Nah.
And with that, we out. Appreciate
Yeah.
you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Yes, sir.